Hello, my dear viewers. This is Deepak Jain here in English Mania, and today this is going to be an activity, and we call it podcast. Nowadays, it is in fashion, right? So that is why actually in this podcast, the people get an opportunity to ask any question from anywhere, right? So any question that you people have, or any question that is juggling around your mind, you can put it across, and if I know, I would be more than happy to answer it, and if I don't know, then I'll get to know, then I'll let you know, right? So feel free to ask any question from anywhere.
Good morning,
Today
sir.
the ball is in your court.
Good morning, sir. Thank you to give us this opportunity to ask questions to you. This will be our honor. So, my first question is directly from your profession.
Okay.
Yes. So, how you choose this profession from when you are when you were in corporate world?
Okay.
You are a multinational company employee. So why you choose this?
Okay, so you have curiosity to know about that, right? Because as you already know that I was working in TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, and yes, it was the MNC multinational company, especially the process was international there. And obviously, yeah, many people ask me this question, why did I switch from that company to my own this institute, right? Actually, see, the reason was that first of all, in this city Mathura, there was no very good institute about English spoken, right? And I knew that, fine, and I knew that deeply. So I knew the weakness of my city that I wanted to make up, right? So that was the first cause. The second cause was that I wanted to do something my own. That was the second cause. Third cause, or the third reason, was that I wanted to do something which I was passionate about. So in that job, I wasn't extremely passionate. And if I talk about teaching or training the people, I was actually passionate about it. So actually, I wanted to turn my passion into my profession. So these were certain reasons that I chose to open my own institute in the city. And when you do something your own, then the feeling is awesome. So that was the reason I decided to do it, and I'm really feeling awesome or ecstatic after getting into this.
But sometimes you never get bored while dealing with the students because many different types of students come to you.
That's a very good question, and I really never feel monotonous. I never find it boring. As I already mentioned, I did it because it was my passion, and my nature is different. I mean, because being a teacher, you have to have patience, you have to be passionate, you have to be crazy, you have to be consistent. And let's say if you start getting fed up, then you are not going to excel, or you are not going to succeed in that, right? तो जहाँ आप बोर हो गए, let's say if you get monotonous, if you feel monotonous, and if students look like a burden to you, then naturally, obviously, then you are not going to excel, and it will reflect in your nature. Remember it. Let's say if I am fed up, if I am frustrated, right? That, I mean, anger is a different thing. The teacher is supposed to be angry. That's a different thing, right? But teacher isn't supposed to be frustrated, or the students shouldn't look like a burden to the teacher, right? Or the teaching or the job that we do should not look like a burden. Then obviously, then we are not actually going to succeed, right? So that was, or that is my nature, fortunately for me, and fortunately for you people or all the students.
So when you decided to switch your profession into the passion into the profession.
When did I think of it?
Yes.
Right. Actually, once I was working in TCS, so a little bit monotony was there. It was there, not here, right?
Okay.
Now I can say this. I couldn't have said this in the company where I used to work, otherwise they would terminate me. Right.
Before
Now I
you're
can,
switching.
yes. Right. Yeah. If I say that I feel monotonous in the company, then they would actually, I would be sad. It means I would be terminated, right? So yes, one night, actually day मैं नहीं कह सकता क्योंकि वहाँ पे night हुआ करती थी, है ना, night shift, yes. So one night I thought of doing it. I mean, because once I was working at computer, and it used to actually strain my eyes. I had to. I mean, because I had to strain my eyes consistently looking at the screen of computer, right? So actually, somewhere or the other, I was getting feeble, and I thought I was delivering 8 hours, 9 hours every night, and I had to deliver, right? Then I thought, if I deliver the same hours in my own business, especially in teaching, because somewhere or the other, the concept of running my business was in my mind. Because several times when I thought of leaving the job, then second question arises, what would you do? So then this was in my mind. Second, there were some other institutes as well here in the city, and I knew the conditions there. I knew that people were not getting what they wanted. The kind of proper learning, proper methodology of teaching wasn't there. And I knew that deeply. So that was the cause that I wanted to compete, and I knew that I must succeed.
So you never wanted to be a normal employee in any company?
No,
You
that's a wrong thing. I mean, I wouldn't agree with it. I wanted to be when I was actually in my pathetic conditions, when I was struggling a lot, because a long way back I used to be a labor as well. So when I was a labor, then joining the MNC obviously was like a dream come true, right? So I cannot agree with that. I wanted to be employee, but once you get it, right, then you are somewhere or the other, you are used to it. Then it doesn't amuse you. Then it doesn't
um,
amuse you, right?
so how many year did you spend on the
In those companies,
in those companies, or you can say in the corporate world as an employee or as a struggle even?
yes. Actually, I spent more than 5 or 6 years. First, I actually started my career from a domestic company, and actually, why did I join that domestic company? Because I just wanted to establish myself in that other city, right? Because I had to appear in many interviews, and I used to be rejected a lot.
Okay.
And once you get rejected, you have to come back to the city, and then once again if you go, then it requires a lot of money, expenses, and more than that, the time, right? The consumption of time was there.
So after getting rejection, so you find out what were the reason why are you getting rejected?
Why were you getting, right? Why was I getting rejected?
Yes.
Because of that voice and accent training. Because I never attended any voice and accent training. So if let's say you do not go through that voice and accent training, then actually they mark you down in terms of MTI, mother tongue influence, right? So that was the reason I was getting rejected. And here in this city, actually, if let's say I thought of getting that VNA means voice and accent training, then actually no institute was here in Mathura which could have provided me this voice and accent training. So that was the cause that I was deprived of it.
So are you saying that the vocal and accent training influence a personality of a person and it impact on your profession when as a employee or as a teacher
It
or
does.
anything?
It does, because if you deal with the customers of international, when you speak to the international clients, then it does. And to be honest with you, now when I speak in English, that the kind of quality that should be there is not there, right? Because it has been more than 10 or 12 years I have been running this institute. So a big gap is there.
So what would be you give the reason? What will be give?
What reason would you give?
Not reason.
Then-
the advice you give to the audience that are saying to you to train your vocal and accent.
Voice and accent, right? Actually, voice and accent training is something either you can access the internet and you can actually search for teachers, right, who are teaching it, okay? Or I also can teach it, but I haven't made my videos online. But if somebody has to learn it, I can teach it here in the institute. Okay, although I myself don't apply now to a great extent, right, but still I haven't forgotten that. Okay, so I can actually teach the students, right, and after that the main thing or the major thing is to apply that. Actually, the learning, I must tell my viewers as well, the learning of voice and accent is not complicated. You will learn it within a week, but actually it does take time to apply, to implement that, right? And let's say if I happen to teach you, only then you will understand that.
So how to deal with the hesitation that I am having in my conversation, that you can see
In your conversation,
yes
ये भी voice and accent का ही part है. Your
Okay.
pronunciation is also a part of that voice and accent, right?
so how can I deal with this hesitation?
Hesitation, actually just the involvement is required. I
Okay.
mean, the more you involve yourself in the spoken, in the practice, because when I learned, I mean, it was also not overnight.
Okay.
I know that how many years I devoted in this, right? I kept learning it consistently, and why not? Why should I not, right?
So this line applied here, practice makes
A man perfect,
a man or a woman
woman
perfect.
perfect. Actually, dominatingly people use men in
Yes.
proverbs,
So
right?
please tell me, how can we become a good learner?
Learner.
Yes.
Very good question. Actually, this is the reality that everybody is not a good learner. This is the truth. And that I tell many students of mine here in institute as well, and several times I scold them as well about this, because when they do not show good traits, so I clearly say that you are not a good learner, because the symptoms of a true learner or a good learner are different. True learner, good learner is he who is consistent, who is sincere, who is honest
And patience, the
and patient.
important
Or
part.
having the craze.
Yes, and having craze, right? So if somebody has all these qualities, right, if somebody consists of all these qualities, all these parameters, will be a good student, then he or she will not succeed only here in terms of English spoken, in life as well.
Okay.
So it is important, it is essential to be a good learner, and it is really.
So how this English Mania is
Mhm.
different from the other coachings in Mathura?
Okay, good question.
Yes.
Well, what all I know is that, I mean, because first of all, because I am here, so I know, because I had seen other people as well, and I have seen many people teaching online as well, I mean, on the internet and all. And the major thing is that the practicality, right, and so many creative ideas, so many innovative ideas to teach, especially the beginners, because most of the people who come here are the beginners. So how to teach a beginner is a challenge, right? So since I inaugurated my this institute, I always thought of something creative and innovative, and thankfully I found many ways, and they were fruitful. And they were very much conducive, fruitful, beneficial for the students, and they took advantage of it, right? So in many ways this institute is different from others, because there are so many new things, new ideas are there. People just need to go through, otherwise the things are many. Even if somebody spends more than 3 months, 6 months, or a year, you will get something to learn, something new every day, like that.
Will you not agree that every coaching running in Mathura is because of English Mania is different? English Mania is different, but they are repeating and doing the same thing. They are giving the rote learning
I know.
as a English to the learners. But the thing that I have found in last 15 to 20 days in the English Mania that I have spent,
Mhm.
the very best thing is that you observe a child, a beginner, and then you make the concept or the
Ways.
ways or the
I got it. Listen, actually, it is very important to go through the psychology of a student before you teach. If I cannot read the psychology, if I am not able to diagnose the capacity or the mentality of an individual, then I can never be a good teacher. So, here, this is also a difference. Before I teach the students, I first examine the psychology and accordingly I actually prepare the students. एंड इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. एक होता है हिंदी में कहते हैं गधे घोड़े खच्चर. आपने एक ही संग निपटा दिए सारे के सारे और सभी को एक ही काम करा दिया, है ना, जस्ट टू गेट रिड ऑफ देम. एक पीछा छुड़ाने वाली टेंडेंसी होती है, लाइक दैट. तो फिर अगर आप इफ़ यू डू दैट गधा घोड़ा खच्चर, देन अब जैसे मैं तुम लोगों को लेके अलग बैठा हूँ इस समय, देयर आर अदर स्टूडेंट्स एज वेल, है ना, दे आर लर्निंग आउट. मैंने सारे तो नहीं लिए यहाँ पे, है ना, बिकॉज आई नो द लेवल, आई नो द कैपेसिटीज़. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू द कैपेसिटीज़, अदरवाइज उनका दिन बेकार जाएगा अगर मैं उनको कुछ और वैसा काम कराने लग गया, है ना, विच इज़ नॉट देयर कप ऑफ टी, राइट. then they will not like it, it will not amuse them, it will not benefit them. So we have to see the psychology.
So in this coaching you are not only giving the learning of English to them but also making the personality of the child, of the
Yes.
beginners,
Yes,
by the many ways.
by many ways.
Not
Actually,
only
see,
you are giving the English.
yes, actually personality means, you know what, you should be flawless in terms of everything. Means your eye contact, gesture and posture of the body and your spoken, है ना. If your performance is flawless, then personality automatically will emerge, or you will emerge as a personality. So actually I would, what I suggest to people is that, I mean, do not focus on personality, just focus on learning, experience and your growth. Personality will automatically be there. No need to actually focus on it extra or excessively.
So what would you define or examine me? You have seen me and you have read my psychology as well as in the last 15 to 20 days. So what is the correct opinion,
Yes.
or the right opinion to me and as well as the advice?
See, what I have observed is, and let's say, I mean, you had been or you have been trying to actually learn it a lot and you're trying to focus a lot, but still if you, let's say, if you could not be perfect or absolutely precise in terms of all, like spoken, personality and all, so the only reason is that, first of all, from your side certain traits are not in place, and second, you never got a right person to train you. Fine, if you had got the right person to train you long way back, and if you had been consistent apart from that in terms of learning, then you would have improved a lot by now. But you were actually never handed over to a right person, because if I talk about school and colleges, they obviously don't work on it. And if I talk about the coaching and institute, I don't know what kind of people you came across, right? So certain traits are there. First of all, let's say you don't have patience, you are very much impulsive, right? And that impulsiveness is the greatest weakness of yours, because you are impulsive. So when you do the things now, you do it impulsively, so sometimes it harms. See, if a person is impulsive, let me tell the advantage and disadvantage. You have got advantage as well being impulsive. The benefit is that because you are bold in your spoken, these people of impulsive nature are bold in spoken, they become good in English but bad in grammar. Because being impulsive means the person of impulsive nature does not think too much before speaking or before doing anything. So when such people come, impulsive people, so these people become fluent in English, but they are hardly accurate. The accuracy would be missing, right? So same is the case in your case.
So I will request you to work on that, and I will definitely support you and cooperate with you.
Yes,
But
I
I
will
know
obviously.
this, I get shortly tempered. very quickly
Yeah, you can say
hyper,
I lose temper very soon.
very soon.
Yes.
and
That
I
is the
get
lack
hyper.
of patience, and yes, it happens to impulsive people, right? But it's okay. I mean, certain things are there. You are blessed, right? So they sometimes they might be genetic, sometimes environmental.
But while working on that, I can control that. I will not say I will finish from the.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
I can control
But where
that.
do they come from? That's what I'm talking of.
You can say by my society, genetics,
That's
or
what I'm
environment mainly,
That's what I was saying.
or you can say the upbringing.
Yes, that's not actually your mistake. Actually, this is sometimes inheritance, sometimes environmental, but more of inheritance.
So I have to be work on my patience.
Yes, yes.
And I will.
And it becomes very difficult to get rid of it because it is inbuilt. Once the things are inbuilt, they hardly go off,
Hardly
or
go
it
off.
takes hell lot of time or attention.
Because these are not the physical action that you can
But the
control
good
immediately.
thing is that you have will to get rid of it. That is, some people are there. First of all, they don't admit that they have some disorders. If they disagree with that, then it becomes almost impossible.
Possible.
Yes.
So
If
I
they don't
know
accept,
it will be not
Yes.
easy. It will be not easy because this is not the physical action that I can control. This is related to my mind. For
Yes.
that I have to control my mind.
Yes.
I have to work on my mind.
Yes.
Only that I can control my patience or my
but
actions.
again, I would say if it is ingrained, because it is deeply ingrained in you, then it becomes very difficult to get rid of it. Because at certain point of time in your life, you will show it. It will come up. If not in English, let's say under the fear of the teacher, you suppress it. But in your personal life, it will come up. It will bounce in personal life, and it can also spoil your relations with many people. And what would happen to your wife, God knows.
So please tell me something about me.
All past is related to this impulsion.
Yes.
My
And
patience.
let me tell, I'm telling you in advance. Once you get married in your future, because not sure that I would be there with you in those days and all, right? You may not be here, but I'm again telling you that because of this impulsiveness, or because of this hypercity, or because of this, short-temperedness, your relation with your wife would be very, very complicated, and many problems will definitely be occurring. There is a possibility lots of disputes may occur, but those days you would remember it, what I have said today. But the reason would be this. So if you could control that in future, I'm telling in advance because I can foresee. So I am predicting and telling you. Then reason would be this. So it would also become the crux of the problem in future. Remember it. So because I don't think, I may not get a chance in future and all, but this video, this recording would be there with you. So I hope you would remember one day.
I would not. I will not agree. I would not agree, but I am agreeing because this is all related to my past and my present. Not only in the sense of relationship, but anything. I will not say the patience, but I'll say in anything is in my case there is lots of ups and downs.
Yes, okay.
Not only in the case of patience, but many things. Not
Yes.
in the relationship and anything in working, friendship,
Yes.
anything.
It hinders,
It hinders.
right? It impedes.
So sir, please tell me something about me. On which ground I want to work hard.
Okay, you can call it perception that you are asking me about you. Fine, as it is going to be podcast, or you can raise any question here. So you made it the perception round actually. So the perception about you, if I honestly tell you, then the thing is, certain things I found good, not the things I should call it traits. Certain good traits, certain bad traits, right? So let me tell you, I mean, you naturally, I mean, if I talk about intelligence, somewhere or the other you have got intelligence, right? But, and you are focused as well, right? But actually, that deep attention of yours is not there. The deep attention, right? Actually, you learn, and the good thing is that you are consistent. The reason might be your father also behind it. Sometimes because you are pushed, right? Ki, hey, go there, do it like that.
No, sir.
No, then it is good. है ना? If it is your own, it is good. है ना? Actually, the intelligence is there, and in terms of spoken, you are fine because you just had finished your grammar, the basics.
Yes, sir.
But when I actually sent you for spoken, you were able to speak, and still you were far better than many people who have been trying for many days,
Yes, sir.
and still they didn't become as bold, as nice as you, right? So that was a good part. But if you deeply focus on it, I mean, if you apply your brain more, then you will be greater, right? But actually, I don't see you applying that accuracy or the depth of your brain like a player of chess, like that. You have to be too involved like this. Then obviously you will be having a great future. So certain good traits are also there in you, which are inbuilt again,
Yes.
right? And certain you have to earn, you have to bring,
Yes.
right? Forcefully. So several times you are blessed with ingrained or inbuilt things. In the mobile phone comes with many inbuilt
English
things, right? Many you have to download from the Play Store,
modification.
right? Same is the case with us. Many we are blessed with, many we have to acquire. So then the teachers are there for that, trainers are there for that, and in your family the parents are there, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the thing. And in many cases, let's say when you learn English, activities are given to you. So in many things you do not show the sincerity. You are not determined. You are not adamant that I have to do it. So that, I mean, that consistency or the determination sometimes is missing, right? That on target basis, when you do the things, that will benefit you a lot.
So in my case, learning English, did I came for the
Did I
right
come?
place, come for the right place in grammar or for the English in my case?
Yes, let me tell. Yeah, initially I didn't want to teach you grammar because I mean I found you good in spoken, right? But grammar was missing. Fine, and because as I already declared that you are impulsive, so I before teaching you grammar and all, I thought whether this boy would learn or not. First of all, would he be ready or not, right? Because sometimes people are overconfident, right? But the good thing about you is that you agreed, you got convinced, you agreed, right? And you focused on it, showed some amount of patience also. You showed that, right? So the area of improvement is there. I mean, although you are impatient, you are impulsive, but you are ready to change that. And again, I would say the major thing is this, that you accept it and you are ready to work on it. That will benefit you. So the chances of improvement are there. You are not a hard nut to crack. You are not impossible, right? So you would improve. Any other question? You have enough? Okay.
So it's not a podcast. It is the experience versus
Anything.
Experience versus
In podcast, you can ask or discuss anything. Like it is okay if you don't call it podcast, you can call it the free spoken, right? Through the podcast, we just call it because it is separate, because then people are out, है ना? So this
So
is the
with
separate
your
session.
experience in your life, so how would you judge me, and you know for what I am preparing for? So you have seen that, but if you have seen that,
Hmm.
level of the persons. So can I will be that or not?
I mean, in terms of your aim,
Yes, and
Okay.
you know what is my aim, what I am preparing for.
you can. Only the thing is that, I mean, in terms of intelligence, cracking the exam, you will
Okay.
do. But let's say if they happen
It's come to the interview, the psychology.
yes,
Yes.
if they happen to assess you in terms of mentality,
Yes.
there as well you can succeed. You know why?
Why?
Because when you show your impulsiveness or impatience, it is when the normal people are around you, but when that authority, when the power would be there, you would be suppressed.
Yes.
I know that. There you would hardly bounce, right? You would be suppressed. So there it would be maintained.
So not only in the patience,
Hmm.
overall I am eligible for that.
You
or
are, I know. Because I
No,
know
my psychology, my attitude, my gratitude, as well as my positive thinking on the views,
No,
as well as my negative points.
whatever you have is sufficient to crack your aim. It is enough. You just have to be consistent, and I already know you are a good learner as well. Fine, and you are focused also. Even it is required only those people who are out of focus and who are absolutely misled, right? Or get into the bad company of people and absolutely away or deviated, or in other words we can say aberrant. The people who are absolutely aberrant, only those people fail, right? But the amount of that dedication, determination is required, you have that, right? So which is sufficient.
Thank you, sir. It was nice talking to you. Hopefully, we will have the another.
Yes, same here. And yes, like this I'll be making many videos, like or many podcasts. Okay, that was just the beginning. This was the first, right? So today when you go home, you can think of as many questions as possible. In the next podcast
We will be ready.
you will post them.
Yes.
Right? Okay, now that was it in this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's the time to say bye to all the viewers, including you. You can say bye.
Yeah, right.